Hey friend, it is Crystal Lopez here from crystalandcup.com. How are you doing today? I hope you are having a wonderful, wonderful day. All right, so I'm glad that you're here. We are going to make salmon patties. That's right, salmon patties. If you're new here and this is your first time watching, or maybe you've been watching for a while but you haven't subscribed, please do. I do lots of Costco grocery hauls. I do cooking videos. I do some clean with me videos. I do all kinds of wonderful things around here. We actually are a large blended family with 9 kids, 5 of them still at home. We have 8 boys, 1 girl, and we're living life in Texas. So, all right. Have you ever made salmon patties before? I recently, in one of my Costco grocery hauls, I showed you guys that I had bought some canned salmon and that I wanted to make, or that I like to make salmon patties with them. And some of you were like, ooh, what is that? Tell me more. I need the details. I need more information here. So this is a recipe that I grew up, my mom made it, not a lot, but my mom made it from time to time. And my grandmother loved salmon patties. It's just really yummy. You can also do this with tuna. I am actually only cooking. Typically, I cook for 7 people. This particular night, I'm only having to cook for 5 people. And I did want to have a little bit of leftovers so that we could eat them for lunch. As you can see, my dogs are joining me. Let me tell you, open up a can of salmon and the dogs will come out. So it's kind of stinky, but you'll see there, it looks a lot like tuna. I'm just kind of running my fork through it, and now we're going to start adding some things to it so that we can actually turn them into patties. So I think I did 3 cans. If I would have been cooking for 7, I probably would have done, and I wanted leftovers, I would have done 4 cans. Those are little cans. You can also buy bigger, like 10 or 12 ounce cans, and then you'll only need 1 or 2 cans. But the ones that you buy at Costco are smaller. So here's what I do. I added some scallions because I had them. You could just add onion, or you could do onion powder. I'm doing salt and pepper. I also like to use Mrs. Dash. I use the Costco version of it, but it's super, super flavorful. So Mrs. Dash is just a salt-free seasoning. And you saw that I did still add salt. I don't use Mrs. Dash because it's salt-free. I use it because I love the flavor. I also added breadcrumbs and some oats. You can do both. You can do one or the other. You can also add, like, take a piece of bread and tear it into pieces and add that in. You're just looking for things that will make this stick together. So, and make it more filling and make the patties hearty. So I am doing 2 eggs here that I'm adding. So the egg and then the oatmeal and the breadcrumbs are really going to help all of that canned salmon stick together. Okay. Also, I do want to say, some of the brands that you buy, you need to watch for bones in the can. You'll see them. It'll be very obvious. You'll go to pour it in the can, and the salmon, it's the taller cans. So the taller can, the salmon will kind of split in half, and then in the middle will be bones. They are, they're very soft bones, but still, I would remove them. These cans from Costco did not have bones in them. All right, I've decided I need 1 more egg. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. I want 1 more egg so that it will be I want it to stick together a little bit better than what it was going to do with the 2 eggs. So we're going to add more breadcrumbs. And those are Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. You can do plain Jane breadcrumbs. You can take crackers and crunch them up. My grandma used to do that, actually. And if you want to get fancy, you could do Ritz crackers or the buttery crackers. She would always just do the saltines. But there you go. That's what it should look like. And now I'm actually going to use an electric skillet. This is my large family electric skillet that I love. I'm adding just enough olive oil to the bottom of the pan to coat it. So we're not wanting to, like, deeply submerge our salmon patties in oil. This is just, we're going to in a very, very shallow amount of oil, kind of fry them on each side. I took my rings off because I am needing to make these patties, and I hate doing that with rings on. Do you guys take your rings off for stuff like that? All right, so I have got the skillet at about 300 degrees, and I'm making these patties where they are about the size of my palm, maybe a tiny bit bigger, but you'll see they're not super thick either. And we're going to make a whole pan worth. So I ended up making 9 total. I do like to keep them even in size so that they all kind of get done at the same time. Now, I did have this up a little too high. I can't remember if I had it at 300 or 350, but after letting these cook for a few minutes and then flipping them, you'll see in a minute that they got kind of dark, and I ended up turning the heat down because I don't like, they were a little dark and crispy on one side, but it's okay. Nothing, it's fine. So put the lid on them so that it will hold the heat in and it will cook quicker. But you don't want to cook these at a super, super high heat. Okay, I'm putting all of these things away, and now I'm going to get out the things that I need to make sheet pan vegetables. That is such an easy thing to make as a side for any dinner. Now, I had to make a quick run to Sprouts because I was out of broccoli and cauliflower from my earlier Costco trip. At this point, it was about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. So I needed more broccoli and cauliflower, and I grabbed that at Sprouts. But I get questions from some of you guys where you ask, do you really use all these things that you are buying at Costco? All these groceries that you buy, do they really get used? Absolutely, 100%. Yes, they do. Okay, so we're just going to keep pulling out all the veggies that we want to cutting up and gathering up the veggies that we want to use to put on the sheet pan dinner, broccoli and cauliflower. And then I still have some of these tomatoes left over. At this point, I'd been working on using them up for about 1.5 to 2 weeks. And the sheet pan dinner is a perfect way to use tomatoes. They're actually super yummy. This is a Montreal steak seasoning that I am using. And what I do is I take all those veggies and put them on the tray, and then I just kind of like drizzle olive oil over them. And then all I do is take that Montreal steak seasoning and shake it on. I don't overdo it, but generously. And then I pop it in the oven just like that. And it comes out fantastic. Those are some biscuits that I had, canned biscuits in the refrigerator that I wanted to use up. I bought a couple of cans of them. I don't always keep canned biscuits on hand, but I had them and I wanted to use them up before I forget that I have them or they expire or whatever. And then I do have some cucumbers that at this point I'd had them for 2.5, 3 weeks, and I needed to use them up, and they were starting to get a little soft. So I thought, you know what? They would be perfect as a side. So I'm just taking them and putting them in a bowl, adding a little salt and pepper, and then putting on some ranch seasoning. They were super delicious. So, so yummy. And we just ate them as a side, and actually what was left over, I put it in a Ziploc bag, and then I just kept putting it out as a side for the next few nights. That's one way that we like to eat cucumbers. Another way is in salads, but they're really yummy like that. So, all right, again, you're gonna notice I am cleaning as I go. I don't want a huge mess after, dinner is all done. I'm getting antsy. I'm like, when is dinner gonna be done? So I took the moment to call my mom and check in on her and see how they were doing. We had bad winter weather. We had ice down here in San Antonio, but they had gotten it about a day before we did. So it was even colder up there, and the conditions were even worse. The roads were worse. I feel like they had flurries and some light snow where we did not have snow. We just had the ice. But, just making sure, do you guys still have power? How is everything? You doing okay? Are you bored? What are you doing? Anyway, these are the little pockets of time that you can do that. Call and check up on your in-laws, your parents, whatever, your kids, your adult kids. Now we're just getting everything out of the oven. There's the biscuits, they're done. The sheet pan vegetables, I just kind of give them a quick little mix to make sure that they're coated well in all the seasonings and whatnot. And then I'm just making my dinner plate on a fancy paper plate and giving it a taste test to make sure everything is good and yummy before I start making little kids' plates and calling all the kids down to the table. So it was absolutely delicious. Let me tell you, if you have never tried canned salmon before, especially salmon patties, you should totally make this. Yeah, can't keep it on the fork. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. We will see you in the next video. And let me know in the comments, what is your favorite way to prepare canned salmon? Or are you like very anti? never going to make it. Let me know. All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye.